Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick Cooling, and I hope you guys are having a good 2021 so far. We're deep into January right now, and we're into the wintry season. So what better time to talk about 30 Days of Night? It's a vampire flick from 2007, starring Josh Hartnett, Melissa George, and it's directed by David Slade, and also stars Danny Hudson too as one of the main vampires. So I've always been a big fan of this film ever since 2007 when it released. I just love how action-packed it is and brutal it is compared to most vampire movies. So the basic plot of this movie is about this Alaskan town that once a year, every for 30 days, you lose the sun. It's 30 days of night. So a lot of the population can't deal with this. So they have like 500 and some in their community, and they're down to like 100 and some within these 30 days because you can't deal with it. Like a lot of people get stressed out over it, not having the sun. Alcohol is illegal during these times. It would be real hard on your brain psychologically. And this film starts right off on the last day of sun, and the town's preparing there. People are leaving, getting out of the town, the ones who aren't going to stay. And right away, we see this huge ship show up out of nowhere in the icy water, and this unknown drifter coming from it into the town. And he goes around and he like kills the dogs in the town, like the huskies or whatever, pretty brutally too. Cuts off their power, cuts off all their communication and all that stuff. So there really be no way of them getting help. And you learn to find out that that ship was full of these weird like vampire type creatures. We'll call them vampires. And they have really sharp teeth and long nails, and they plan on coming in and feeding off this entire population. Right? And since this movie starts on the last day of sun, it doesn't take long for this movie to get kicking, right? The vampires quickly come in after all communication and power is lost, and to start wiping out everybody in the town. So basically, it comes to the point where the people are trying to wait out these 30 days for the sun to come back to survive, because it's very hard to not make a noise or nothing, because they'll hear you and kill you right away. They don't mess around. So our main character in this film is Josh Hartnett playing Eben. It's a weird name, Eben. I thought it was Evan all these years, but on this time I actually looked and it was Eben, and I was like, what? Never heard of that name before. Him and Melissa George playing Stella. This is a couple that's been separated, but due to loss of communication and she didn't make it to the airport, she's stuck in the town with him. She's like a fire marshal now, and he's the head sheriff. And they only got two police force in this town during the 30 days of night, him and the deputy. So it's a very small town, like very local. Even the cop station, his grandma and his brother's hanging out there. So this is a very, very small knit community. So starting off with what I find really great about this movie is the pacing. Like I said, this movie just pretty much gets right into it. There's really no build up. It's just, okay, the ship arrives right at the first. They cut off communication and supplies and stuff, and it's bam, out for carnage. And they're just right away out killing everybody in the town. It doesn't take long at all. Make a half hour in the movie, you're already right into the tension throughout the rest of the runtime, which is real nice. And since the main characters are like separated, they're forced to come together over this. It's a really neat, like, we don't get a lot of time to build character moments since this movie like pretty much gets right into the action. So we see like the way the emotions that the characters have and the relationships through the chaos. Like you see how they're working with each other, and how they're willing to drop what they were fighting over this survival situation, right? And it's essentially bringing them closer together, this whole scenario. So let's get into the vampires themselves, the bad guys. They're brutal as hell. The leader of them is played by Danny Huston. He kills it as the leader of vampires. Like, they're brutal. They're not your typical like vampires. They're not all seductive or like campy and cheesy like some of the older movies. These guys are just straight up out for blood. And they even look like they're ferocious. They got sharp teeth, long nails. Their eyes are like black, and they got pale skin. But most of them all end up with blood like all over their face throughout the movie, and it's a really cool look, I find. And yeah, they're putting heads on spikes and just ripping people's throats open, and blood's flying everywhere. They don't mess around at all. Running through windows, crashing through them, but they're not stupid either. They're not just these apex predators that are just blood hungry. They're smart enough to save like a human, for example, and use them as bait, like going down the street while they're on the rooftops watching to see if anyone will come out and save them. That was really cool too, I found, just to prove that they were smarter than that, right? They're not just animals. And you find out that they've been here centuries before. That this is not the first time they do this, but they wait so long for people just to forget and make you think it was just a bad dream. And yeah, that was just real cool. They're real cool creatures. And the location and the setting of this movie is awesome too. I'm always in love with movies that involve snow, and this one they really utilize the colors with the snow. The blood on the snow is like it's like red on white canvas. It just looks beautiful in a weird way. Overall, the 30 Days of Night concept itself was really cool. How the town was like cut off for 30 days of sun. It reminded me of Pitch Black with Vin Diesel. Kind of the same concept there. And yeah, just the lighting too. For a movie that's supposed to be all taking place in the dark, you can see quite a bit. Like, not in a bad way, and it's just shot very well. Like AVP 2 should take notes of this movie, because it was in the dark and you couldn't see nothing. This one you can actually see stuff. Just looking at my notes here, there's a cool aerial shot when the carnage is breaking loose. One of the first times they're taking over the whole town. There's like this drone shot, it almost looks like, and it's just people getting taken out and bodies everywhere and the blood on the snow, and it just artistically visual, it looks nice. It looks very nice. And this brings you to the survivors. At one point in the movie, halfway through around, they decide to hide out in an attic, and it really reminded me of like the World War II times, like almost like with the Nazis and the Jewish people hide in the attic. And it just really resembled that, how they were hiding, they couldn't make a noise or they would get caught. I thought that was pretty clever too. And for the characters, I think they're all pretty decent. I really like the drifter character that the vampires use just to go around and terrorize the town, or like cut the town off, I mean, from everyone before they come in, to make sure that there's no way of them getting burned from the light or anything. I really liked his character. He played it pretty cool. He was just being used, but he really thought the vampires were gonna take him in, but that didn't quite happen. As for the rest of the characters, yeah, they were all pretty good. I liked Melissa George. She's great in Triangle. She's fairly good in this. And Josh Hartnett, well, we all know him from late '90s, early 2000s with Halloween H2O and The Faculty and all those types of '90s horror movies in early 2000s. He really goes a little darker in this one, which I really liked. It's just like you see axes going through people and stuff. It's just really cool. And yeah, so the characters are all nice. I like how there's none that are real assholes. Like, they don't all get along, but they know in this situation they have no choice but to work together. And yeah, I just hate when movies, like, they're in these type of situations, there's still one guy's like, I don't care what you guys say, I'm the tough guy. Like, you know, you don't really get that in this, which I like. They were more believable characters. And as for the ending, how the whole thing wrapped up, I really enjoyed the final fight with the vampires, and with the sunset coming up, it was kind of sad, but it was a heartwarming ending at the same time, in a really weird, messed up way. It was it was sweet. But I can't get enough of movies, horror movies, especially using the snow to their advantage. It doesn't happen quite enough, I don't think, in the genre, and I think it visually speaking, it's a lot more stunning in my eyes. Maybe it's because we don't see it that often. So as for a rating, I would give 30 Days a Night from 2007, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. If you're into the more brutal side of horror, this would be more up your alley. It's not very cheesy or campy. It's more done in a serious tone. But yeah, the gore's there, the violence, and these vampires are not to be fucked with at all. Don't mess with them. And there's pretty good acting all around. Great atmosphere. There's tension all throughout. So I would easily recommend this movie if you haven't seen it already. I'm going to be sure to check out the sequel soon. I have never watched the sequel ever. I'm skeptical on it. Straight to TV or DVD or whatever. So but we'll see. Also, I just want to mention before I go that I'm doing my Stephen King reviews every Sunday, so it's Stephen King Sundays from now on, and I can go for a long time with his because he has so much content, right? But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you liked this review, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.